Hi, welcome to Masterful Divine Feminine 333. I am Miss Divine, and it has been quite some time since I've done a reading. I haven't had the space to do readings for YouTube, so I've still been doing private readings, but I couldn't channel collective energy for YouTube. But this morning I couldn't avoid it for much longer. I was taking a shower and I was going through my own internal dialogue about myself and the relationships in my life, the relationship with my family members and friends, etc. And just evaluating how there are problems. There's resistance. There's this feeling of not being chosen. There's the abandonment beauties, I'm calling them now, that I have been working on for like the last 5 years, but specifically for the month of October. And right now in November, I've had a lot of emotional flashbacks, right? So some of you may have been having emotional flashbacks, and it's been a major purging for a lot of us in the collective. And so while I was in the shower, I was deciding that I can I can choose to move away from anything and anyone that I don't want to be aligned with right now, because we're no longer aligned. And it's a difficult space for me to say that, because it's just like I feel selfish. But then the other thought I had in the shower, it was like, well, it's about damn time you're selfish. People are always going to have opinions. People are always going to have opinions. People are always going to have feelings. People are always going to sort of make you feel, and you yourself are going to make yourself feel guilty. But I'm trying to get to a space where I am not letting that stop me from what I want to do. And right now I want to let a space. So I've been in solitude. I've been in solitude again for like all of October. And I want to continue that. And I actually want to stop showing up. I want to stop showing up for the people that I've been showing up um for. And it has nothing to do with love. So another thing that I have been going over was love, and what love means, like what is love. And I've been starting to look at love more as a verb, like it's something that we create. And I've been understanding more and more that people love you the way that they want to love you, not necessarily like the way that you want to be loved. Like, it's sort of cliche, but like it's really true when you really try to understand. Like, I can always love someone the way that I want to love them, but do I truly love them if I don't love them the way that they want to be loved? Right? And I know, like, okay, some of you say, well, what if that person doesn't know how to be loved? Well, it's not your place to try to make them figure that out, right? Like, you still have to then love with boundaries. But that's just like a whole nother reading, and I don't want to go there right now. Yeah, I don't want to go there right now. So if you are here, I trust that you are, one, I feel like you're angry, right? But two, I trust that, the messages that will come out are meant for you. Take what fits and leave what doesn't, and it's sometimes it's readings that like you may want to come back to, you may want to pause, because it could be too much to absorb. So for my divine feminines on the journey, specifically women, some of you may have just gotten your period, and some of you can be disappointed because you may have been wanting to conceive. And for others of you, you're kind of like, oh, relief. That's why I've been extra emotional and extra sensitive and having more cravings than you typically would have. So that's it. That's as vulnerable as I'm trying to be right now, and that's as much as I want to share right now for the introduction. So let's get in and see what's coming out. Get into it. So we got the 10 of Wands in reverse. Okay. Oh, okay. see if we get one more. Spirit said just take 3. All right. Some of you may be like right-handed, but have been trying to be more left-hand dominant. So that if that resonates, then there may be some very specific messages here for you today, this morning, whenever you're watching. So we have the Ten of Wands in reverse, so disagreement, delegation, release, irresponsible, burnout, immature, careless. So feeling burned out from a lot of disagreements that's been happening. So especially with Mercury retrograde right now, like we know that miscommunications are heightened. Anything that can go wrong is heightened during this time. But the beauty about it, it also highlights everything that's going right in a time where things should go so wrong. So you realize how you are slowing down, right? If you've been doing the work, right? You realize what you'll put in a similar situation and you would have reacted one way in the past, but you'll realize how you regulated and managed yourself in a similar situation this time around. So Mercury retrograde for me the last 2 years have always been less of fear. Like I'm not afraid of it as I was prior. And now it's like, well, I can really see where I've grown, because so many times on the healing journey, especially when we kind of like hit another level of what feels like breakdown, where we can be disappointed at times, right? Like there is a level of human nature and the ego that still exists within us, no matter how much work we are doing to eradicate that and be on like a spiritual level. Nonetheless, there are times for me during the retrograde where my reaction to things that aren't positive things that are happening, more or less, I'm like, oh wow, like look how much I'm moving through this space. Look how the way I'm moving through this space is allowing others to move through this space. Like earlier today, like just this morning, I was sharing with um one of my someone that I look up to in the spiritual world. I was sharing with him um like some of the messages, not like I wasn't telling him exactly what was happening in the shower, like exactly what I was saying, but I was telling him like this this is not a normal morning. There's a lot happening right now. And I was just sharing with him some of the downloads I was having, right? I hit send super confidently in typical retrograde energy. I sent it. I sent it to the wrong person. So it happens. It's going to happen to all of us. Spirit said to not delete the message, because that's what you would do. You would delete the message and just be like, okay, so like I won't. I'll just let the person know it was a mistake. And I didn't. I continued just telling that person my bad, and then I went and I forwarded the message to the right person. So it all happens, and it's all just a matter of looking at yourself and see how you are moving through it, how you are embracing the trip, the fall, the canceled fight, the canceled flight, maybe a fight with someone, right? The battles, like how are you moving? How are you staying grounded and mindful in that space? Also, happy 11/11. I am recording this on an 11/11. I don't think I'm going to pull on any twin flame energy today, not intentionally, but we'll see what comes out. So the next card we have right here is the Ten of Pentacles. So security, family, established wealth, contribution, financial stability, and long-term success. So I really do feel like that is where 99% of your energy right now is on that long term, is looking at the long term stability, right? And I think that you have made, or you are making, significant changes emotionally this end of 2025 as you move forward into 2026. There's you don't have to do the hard work of cutting ties off, cutting off people. You don't have to do the hard work of like that emotional breakthrough, like you are doing that right now. A lot of you are cleaning that up right now, and a lot of you kind of like maybe starting, but by the end of 2025 you're not going to be carrying in to 2026 any relationships that aren't the ones that you want, right? So like people are really going to have to step up. And even if they don't step up, you're just like, okay, whatever. I am choosing me in every direction I am going. So that's really nice. And then we have the Tower in reverse that also came out. Fear of changes, averting disaster, stormy time, restlessness, collapse. So a couple of things come through. So I love when I get three cards. So we got three cards exactly. And I was watching Instagram reel today from a spiritualist. I can't remember her name, but she talks about the power of three, right? And that number three is very significant in so many different religious practices, whether it's saying a chant three times or I can't remember the other significant meanings at this point, but I know for me, on my personal journey, the number 333 began following me, and it was that number that made me take the next step in creating the channel, this channel, right? I lost my train of thought for a second. So fear of changes, I'm not getting it that you're in any fearful energy. I do think you are averting disaster by truly changing how you operate the rest of this year. You may feel that it may create like an unknown storm, right? Like you may feel like as you detach, as you surrender, as you pull away from relationships, that maybe a storm may happen. And it might, right? Um, but there's going to be a collapse. There's definitely going to be a collapse that happens. And like, I think you want it to happen. I think it has to happen because I think it's time for you to really just be like, well, fuck this. This is why I'm, you know, what's funny? I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm not going to pull on any twin flame messages, not intentionally. And I just had like glanced over and realized Spirit already led me to pull out the twin flame deck from earlier. So maybe I'll just do another reading, but let's see how it goes. So I don't see you running away from this. I don't see you like avoiding it. I see that the choices that you're making now to detach and to really strengthen your emotional boundaries because you're making significant changes and you're cutting a lot of ties. I see that like yeah, there is a potential for a storm, but it's fine. I really don't even want to look into see how you need to resolve it because you resolve it because you're no longer in the state of wanting to resolve anything. Like it is what it is. It is what it is. Why must you or why must I always be responsible for trying to fix a thing or trying to understand a thing? As long as I understand me, I am only responsible for me. Mm-hmm. It's some real stuff to digest for a lot of people. But that's where I think you are on your healing journey, right? That's where I think I am. I'm not saying that this is the golden rule for everyone, but this is where we are in this particular juncture of our of of where we are. I really don't feel like there are any other messages. I really don't feel like there are any other messages. So I am going to end it here. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.